Down to the last couple of weekends. Last midweek game tomorrow night at Haymarket Park against South Dakota State, and then a huge Big Ten weekend coming up against Indiana. We welcome in Ben Columbus, who has hit his way into the lineup and joins us now on Mornings with Sharp and Hanley. Good morning, Ben. Thanks for your time.
Good morning, guys. Thank you for having me.
Canucks Oilers, how many games will the Canucks win in?
I got Canucks in 5. I'm going to give the Oilers at least one game.
Nice.
One game to scratch, but I'm going to give them 5.
Last time you put on skates, and for people that don't know, Ben is from North Vancouver in British Columbia. Last time you put on skates?
Oh, gosh. Probably when I was 13, when I just moved up from Phoenix.
Okay.
First time trying, didn't go very well. I think I fell maybe 6 times.
Ooh, see, that's the worst, especially when you're that tall. Because I'm assuming you were probably of decent height at that age, too. It makes the fall that much tougher, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't feel good falling on that ice, that's for sure.
All right, so last week you got to be on the receiving end of history, and it's always great to talk to someone who pitched a no-hitter and the rarity of that. But I think catching the no-hitter, being able to using the technology to call pitches, I know that's obviously it's changed from so many years ago, but my question for you is, with what Jackson was doing last week, at what point as a catcher did you think something's up here? This is a little different than the typical midweek or even weekend pitching performance that I've seen.
Yeah, I think when he was perfect through 4 1/3 or almost 5 or whatever it ended up being, I think that was when I finally realized that this outing could be something something special.
Did you have much interaction with him, like in the dugout, while this was going on?
I tried to let him do his own thing. I didn't really want to disrupt a routine or distract him too much. But he's not one of the dudes who sits in the dugout and just kind of sits on the bench and just thinks about everything. He's wandering around. He's talking to everybody.
Yeah.
So he likes to stay loose, and I guess it worked out for him pretty well.
Well, as a team, are you guys trying to respect, hey, if he wants to be by himself, we've all seen the images of you have the one side of the dugout just jam-packed with a bunch of guys, and then the other side is just one guy sitting by himself. Does it get to a point where you guys are trying to avoid him, but he's like, no, come on, let's keep talking here?
Yeah, no, it definitely got to a point later on where we were like, we didn't want to accidentally bring it up. We didn't want to actually say the wrong thing, but no, he kept wandering around. He kept talking to everybody, trying to stay loose, and it worked. Ben
Columbus, Nebraska's starting catcher, joining us here on Mornings with Sharp and Hanley. You've caught Jackson before. Hasn't pitched a lot this year. Hasn't even made some conference road trips. What was different about him last week that maybe you think could be a nice little arm to use as we go down the stretch and then into the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament?
I just think if he keeps that same intensity that he went out with, every time he went out to the mound, you can tell he wasn't going to let up any damage. He was ready to go, put up a zero. So I think if he brings that out every single day, then he's going to have some good success here towards the end of the season.
Is there, and you see this again every outing when it comes to handling the staff, that Gary and I talk about this a lot, being familiar with a lot of the different trends in baseball too. And you see it as a catcher, the art of being able to work ahead of a hitter has been more challenging lately. And I think people have different theories on why, but when you, especially with how good, especially Sears has been on Friday, when you see somebody that is establishing the count leverage early on, is that typically from your standpoint and having the best angle and the best view, does that give you the confidence, okay, we're probably going to see a good outing. This is where we want to be?
No, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you see someone start to fall behind in the count, then you might leave a pitch over the middle that he can hammer for a homer for a couple runs. But if he keeps getting ahead in the count, then suffocating the strike zone, then the hitter has no chance, and it's going to be a good outing.
Ben Columbus, who had a great week last week at the plate and has hit his way into the lineup and a mainstay of this starting 9. Let's talk about how's your relationship? In college baseball, that some coaches, head coaches, and pitching coaches are control freaks, and they don't let catchers do much in terms of getting to know their pitcher and calling pitches. How does the relationship work with you as a catcher, with your staff, and then Rob Childress in his role as the pitching coach?
Everyone has a great relationship because Coach Childress is very open to talking about pitches, what he want to throw in this count, and that kind of stuff. And he's very open to advice, I guess is a good way to put it. If the pitcher feels like he wants something, then he's going to go with it, you know. But most of the time we put our trust in Coach Childress because he knows exactly what he's talking about. He's done this for plenty of years, but yeah, he's very open to working with us for sure.
And you kind of had a unique experience with Jeff Christie, the previous pitching coach too, because his success as a catcher, but then had made that transition more on the pitching side of it as well. And this isn't to say who does what better, but when you think of the different teaching styles between what you experienced under Jeff Christie and what you've noticed with Rob Childress, what have you noticed the way that he handles the pitching staff compared to what you saw with Coach Christie?
Even last year, Coach Childress was pretty involved
Right.
in the pitching staff, even though he wasn't the pitching coach for the team. But it's not a whole lot different this year. They both care a lot about the staff and their success, and they want each and every guy to do well. And he obviously trusts every single guy he puts out there, or else he's not going to put him out there. But
Right.
but yeah.
What's the difference between Brett Sears last year that you got familiar with and the Brett Sears that you're catching every Friday night?
Oh gosh, Brett Sears is I don't even know what to put it. He's just a dog this year. He's just different. I don't know. He's got that mentality that he's gonna completely just dominate every single team. That's all he needs.
Well, and as a catcher, again, this goes back to the relationship of you play enough games, not everybody's going to have their best stuff. And whether we're talking about Sears or Walsh or McConaughey or, I mean, even Jackson getting back into things, your role and your overall comfortability of being able to, when you get into the dugout or when you get out on a mound visit, just to get them to refocus, is that an area that you feel, you know, as now a veteran of this club and handling that staff, kind of being an extension, if you will, of Rob Childress, that you have that relationship with all of these guys, that there is that ability, even if you have to be a little bit harsh, a little bit critical, that's well received?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because we all have this trust with one another, with the staff. Me and Josh built that level of trust throughout the fall, so they know what we're talking about. They trust us and what we're talking about. And if we have to be a little harsh, they're going to take it the right way. They're not going to, think it's us coming at them for doing something bad. We're just trying to help them and trying to get them through the outing.
Hey, there's another part of what you do, and that is with a bat in your hand. And as I mentioned, you had a really good week last week, and you have solidified yourself in the lineup. What's the difference this year as the season has gone along of your comfort level at the plate?
I think it's mainly just, like you said, just getting more comfortable in there. Just actually swinging the pitches I can hit and not being too selective. Because I think last year I got quite a bit selective and then didn't swing at my pitches and then didn't work out too well. But now that I'm swinging with some intent, I think doing some damage, working out pretty well.
And with that evolution and I'm sure experience and just of seeing more Big Ten pitching and seeing the level that you guys have helps. But also you get another addition to the coaching staff in Mike Sirianni. What is his role and what has his addition been like for this team and the success you guys have had?
Oh yeah, he's been great. We all love him. He's definitely for us is probably a good way to put it. He loves helping us one-on-one. He'll do whatever it takes to make our swing feel good, no matter what time of day it is.
Hey, you guys look at the RPI, the standings. You still have a lot in front of you to accomplish your goals. But you probably get this question a lot, not just from media, but from other people. What's the difference between this team in the midweek compared to the weekend?
With this year or just
no? Well, yeah. Let's just focus on focus on this year because this year you're racking up weekend series wins in the Big Ten.
Yes. Well, I think mainly it just starts with a good start on the mound. I think that's definitely a key because you never want to chase chase runs in the first, second inning, no matter if it's a weekday or a weekend game. So I think if we get a good start on the mound, then I think our bats are going to come alive, just like we showed at K-State. And then I think if we just keep fighting, keep showing the resilience that we have, because this is a good group of guys that we have this year. So I think if we just, just keep fighting, we'll go pretty far.
Has that been the key of what you just said there at the end? It's a resilient group that has allowed you guys to flush out some, especially the early midweek struggles. That has allowed you guys to still remain focused on what you've been able to do on the weekends. Because I think when you're dealing in collegiate sports, it's easy to let that maybe frustration seep into the weekend, especially on Fridays when you're trying to set the tone. You guys really haven't done that. Is it resiliency? Is that what you kind of look at with this team?
Yeah, absolutely. This is absolutely one of the toughest teams in the country for sure. But I think we've built that level of resilience that we can just, once we get punched in the jaw, we can punch right back and just let it roll off our back and not let it carry over into a big series weekend.
Now, speaking of a big series, and Gary mentioned it too, you got a huge one not only tomorrow, but this weekend. Indiana comes to town. It's the regular season, the home finale for the regular season, and then you go to Michigan State the following week. It's at the line on the standings, but also there are going to be guys that are playing their last games at Haymarket Park this weekend as well. You also understand that as a team, you guys are trying to look the part as you get closer to the NCAA tournament and in Omaha for the Big Ten tournament as well. Just the overall atmosphere, you've experienced it now for 2 years. For a game and a weekend series like this, what is that anticipation like going into it, knowing how the Husker crowd will show up and just what is on the line?
Yeah, I bet this weekend Haymarket Park's going to be popping a little bit with the stand-ins going on, with the team coming in, with senior weekend going on this weekend. So I think the crowd will bring some juice this weekend. I think it's going to be a great weekend for us.
You guys feel that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. This place isn't like no other.
Okay, we'll get you out here on this. Ben Columbus from the Nebraska baseball team joining us. And, we can look at your home run on that 93-mile-an-hour fastball last week against K-State that you turned on and actually pummeled into the right field stands. And we can say, oh, that's because of your mechanics. But let's be honest, Ben. How much of your success this season and really in your baseball career is due to your mustache?
I'm gonna go about 95% of it for the
yes! All right, yeah. Yes! Bring the mustache back. It's looking good. Looking good.
All right. So what goes into it? Because you got one of the best mustaches in all of baseball. I mean, this is your look. How do we prepare the mustache? What's the next phase of this? Would you rather just go, because you have been bearded guy with the mustache? I mean, are we just going to strictly stay with the mustache?
We are going to strictly stick with the mustache. Yeah, my girlfriend doesn't really like it herself, so
now
we're going to stick with the mustache.
Now, this is a team that's got some great facial hair as well.
No doubt. Yeah, Trey Fromm's got a heck of a mustache on him. Brockett can grow a good one.
Yeah, Brockett had the curls, right? He had kind of the.
He's got the little curls coming out. Yeah, his is a good one.
Have you thought about doing that, or do you just like the more Magnum PI look?
I just like the Magnum PI look. Okay. I've thought about it, though. I have thought about it. I'm not going to lie to you. It has crossed my mind before.
Hey, congratulations on the season so far. I know that you guys want to be playing for the next month plus. Good luck tomorrow night and good luck on the weekend. And good stuff, by the way, across the baseball program with Jackson meeting the other individual, Mr. Greer, who threw the no-hitter 70 years ago. That was a great video put out by Nebraska baseball social media yesterday.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
That's Ben Columbus, the pride of North Vancouver, British Columbia. Canadians in college baseball.
That's right.
And he had a good week last week.